We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, protection, divinity, and magic. The circle is cast, and so it is.
Hello. My name is Chelb. My pronouns are they, them. And this is Phasecraft Collective, your weekly check-in with the tarot to get the vibes, to see what's up, to see what energy is available for the week to come. I'm actually recording this on Saturday night, the night of the solar eclipse and new moon in Aries. The vibes are vibing. I'm feeling good and spooky and witchy. It's very rainy and like dreary outside right now. I've got my candles, I've got my mood lighting. I don't know, it feels pretty magical up in here. And I'm hoping to bring those vibes into when you're seeing this, either tomorrow on Sunday, if you're a patron, or on Monday. Wow, what a time. It's been very interesting to hear from people in readings this week, specifically about dreams. Everyone's having very vivid and expansive dreams. Even if they don't usually remember them, they've got them on lock. So in general right now, with all of the astrological energy, with all of the energy in the world around us, if you haven't been paying attention to your dreams, maybe do so. There is always messages available in the subconscious, but especially with eclipses, you hear about it being like chaotic energy all the time, but it also really opens up the void. It invites us to really look into the dark and see what exactly we can see. See what we can find illuminated simply by gazing into the darkness. I know I'm shuffling and we haven't even cast our circle yet. If you're new here, I don't actually start pulling cards until we cast a circle. Oh, but we have the Ace of Wands and the Sun, which is so very much the moment. This is the new moon and the eclipse in Aries. This is the time for you to allow this energy to burn through, to break apart the barriers, the ideas, the things that keep you from truly engaging and chasing your full self and your full potential. Now is the time to shine bright in your confidence and your sense of self, and really just be unafraid as much as possible. Be willing to explore. Be willing to find your courage, to alchemize your fear into that courage, that motivation for the future. Anyway, before we get into the actual reading, that was like a great little preview. There's only a day left to get a reading from me before I close my book. If you're hearing this on Sunday, I have a few spots open on Monday for readings, so you can definitely book a reading for Monday. But if you're seeing this on Monday, this is your last day to get an email reading from me. So you can order a 4-card, 7-card, or 10-card reading from me. The 4-card and 7 cards are written, and a 10-card reading is pre-recorded and emailed to you. This is your, last chance to get those before I close my books for all of April, if not a little longer. I do plan on opening them back up in May, but I'm not sure. I might need a little bit more time. So it's your last chance to get a personal reading for a while. It's also coming up on your last chance to sign up for Phasecraft. So this starts on Thursday. It's my 6-week beginner intermediate tarot course. The first class is on Thursday evening. You can sign up for individual classes or the full course and get some like bonus content if you do. And there's payment plans, there's discount codes available for trans and BIPOC friends. So shoot me an email. We can get you on a payment plan. I can get you that discount if you're part of those communities. But yeah, I'm so excited. Phasecraft is the best, and this first class is all the history and evolution of tarot, which is like my favorite thing to talk about. I could talk about it for hours. We have 2 hours together, and I could go longer. But so if you want to dive into that, that is happening this Thursday, April 3rd. But okay, let's get to the reading. Let's get to the cards. Let's see what's up. So if this is your first time with me, we take our first few, I was going to say our first few minutes. It's 5 minutes and I've just been rambling. But before we dive into the full reading, we take a few minutes to breathe and ground and center and do what's called casting a circle or setting container together. So I'm going to close my eyes. And I invite you to do the same if it feels safe and good to do so. And just take a couple of breaths. Feel your shoulders rising and falling. Your rib cage expanding and softening. And allow your awareness to settle into wherever you're making contact with the ground, whether it's your feet on the floor, your seat in your chair, your back on a bed or a couch, or the floor, maybe. Let your awareness land there. Let the heat of each exhale settle in that point of contact, melding you into the present moment. Feeling gravity support you and the earth hold you. Feeling your connection to the earth, and by extension, all things on the earth itself. And here I'm going to call to the spirits and guardians of the elements, and as I name them, I invite you to imagine their force, their essence, creating an additional layer of protection around you. You might see a circle of salt or a ring of fire. Maybe the ground opens up and fills with water to create a moat. Maybe you see a force field of swirling air or smoke. Maybe stones or trees or flowers rise up from the earth. Whatever you see is right, is good. It's your magic, and it's there to protect you. I call to the spirits and guardians of the north of earth, the deepest roots and the tallest trees, the stardust that gave shape to this planet, into our bones, hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the east, of air, of wind and breath, of thought and change, hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the south, of fire, the life-giving sun, the powers of creation and destruction, cleansing and renewal, hail and welcome. And I call to the spirits and guardians of the west, of water, the oceans and our blood, the rivers and our sweat, the rain and our tears, hail and welcome. We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, divinity, protection, and magic. The circle is cast, and so it is. Take a couple more breaths. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Cool. All right, so we've got the Sun and the Ace of Wands. But let's see what else we have here for us today. Whoa. Whoa. They're flying. They're spitting. Okay. The Hierophant, the Pope. This deck is the Tarot de Ambiguïtés. I don't know how to pronounce it. But it is a take on the Tarot de Marseille, re-illustrated by a Cuban artist that is interesting. It's a little gory. The cups are anatomical hearts. The wands are, clubs with feet at the end of them. The pentacles are severed heads. It's kind of fun. So it's a little spooky, and that's fine. But with the Hierophant, then we have La Papa, or the Pope. The Pope and the Two of Swords is very interesting energy to open up with. It's followed by the Knight of Wands, the Emperor, there's that Aries energy, the Devil, the Five of Cups. What an eclipse moment. This is a moment to decide. To decide on a path. To decide between structure or chaos. Maybe both. To decide whether or not you are willing to hold multiple truths at once, and what could be possible if you do. Six of Pentacles here. The Tower. I was like, I bet the Towers. I almost said it, but I didn't want to speak it into existence. It came anyway. It's not an eclipse reading if the Tower isn't present. The Tower, the Five of Swords. Let's get one more. Let's see if we can land on a less chaotic note. And it's the Six of Swords. Yeah. But through all of this kind of action that we have playing out in front of us, we still have the Sun and the Ace of Wands. All of this chaos, all of this challenge, all of these decisions are revolving around your truth, your true self, your inspiration, your ability to show up fully. And go after the things that you want to create. So there's the Ace of Wands. It's not just a wand with a foot attached to it. This one is just a leg. It's fine. It's fine. Sorry. I just really like this deck. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's fun and weird. And I like weird things. Anyway, so as I mentioned, we have the Hierophant, the Two of Swords, and it's Cavalier de Jambes, so it's legs. It is legs. The Knight of Wands, the Emperor, the Devil. So, okay, that was a lot. As I was mentioning, the Hierophant, the Two of Swords, the Knight of Wands. Where can you play within structure, again, within institution, within boundary? Structure that is designed to help you learn. Institutions that are designed to help you seek and find what you want. How can you play in those spaces to invite in duality or expansion of thought? How can you invite in the idea that just because something is taking place within a container does not mean that it cannot be wild, that it cannot seek to expand the container, to mold and reshape and change and shift to create something new? It also needs to be said that a lot of times, I mean, the Knight of Wands is like this pure, unbridled, seeking and destroying sometimes fire. So having that boundary, that container, to hold it so that it can actually do something constructive is potentially how we get to this place, the Emperor, the Devil, this balance between having a solid ground and solid knowledge and ideas of where you stand, what you want to make, and what you already have made. And the chaotic and exciting energy of enjoying and fully giving yourself over to the process of creation and enjoyment. The Devil has a lot of complexity. It often can show us where we are giving too much of ourselves and invites us to break ourselves free of the chains that hold us to those things that we are giving too much of ourselves to. It invites us to find the ways in which we can make life more pleasurable, more exciting, how we can turn to the truest, most base desires of our human form, while still maintaining the embodiment that we need to make it through every day. The Devil is kind of a very, I speak of the Empress a lot as like pure embodiment, but the Devil is also very much about the physical realm. Very much about the intensity of feeling in the body. And if the Emperor is this constructive fire of Aries, this determination, how can you unite those two things? How can you use your pleasure and your embodiment to fuel the structures? I'm using the word structure a lot. That's kind of like an overarching theme, especially with Aries. Aries is intense. It's hard and fast. It is very much not stuck, but can be very single-minded. Can see a course of action and decide nothing will stop them until they get it. The Devil then invites that nuance, invites that exploration of everything else around the determination, around, let me just show you the back of the card, around that goal. And how what might feel like a distraction can actually enhance the process and the experience. I don't know if you can hear it, but Angus is trying to get in very desperately. This is Angus. Can you say hi, buddy? He was out there giving his 2 cents about Aries and the Devil and the Emperor. Yeah? Should I let you go now? Will you be quiet? Okay. Anyway, everybody needs a little Angus break in their lives. And actually, it's quite fitting that he came in during that, because he is my little devil. He is gluttonous and pleasure-seeking and just always wants to play or eat or snuggle. It's all he knows. He's a kitten. He's a Taurus kitten. So yeah, that like very shiny side of the Devil card is very much my son, Angus. And so in that process of uniting the expansion and the nuance of inviting pleasure and distraction into the process of boundary creation, of stability in the creative process, We have the 5 of Cups, we have the 7 of Wands, and we have the 6 of Pentacles. All of these things leading up to the Tower, which I'm going to get to in a second. Because the Tower in a Marseille-style deck, it is the House of God. The Tower of God is what it is originally called. And I said I was going to get to it in a second, but now I'm just talking about it. And it really speaks to the dismantling of power structures. It is an epiphany. It is an act of freedom. And in the process to get to this place, we often find conflict and chaos in the emotional sense. We find it difficult to find that balance between fighting for ourselves and fighting for each other. And oftentimes it can feel like those two things are at odds. But it will take effort and work and a desire to actually see your desires realized to break those things down. Yeah, I kind of made it like a major shift here. There's a shift in tone, the Angus shift, before Angus and after Angus. We have that engagement in self and personal experience. And now we need to kind of shift it into our experience with others. But none of this can happen without each other, right? Like, we're humans. You can isolate yourself and do everything for yourself and not worry about your impact on other people, but that does not mean that the impact is not happening. Every action you take, every decision you make, every spell you cast, whether or not you include it, will have an impact on someone or something else in your direct environment. And that is this balance, the 7 of Wands, the 6 of Pentacles. Finding the ways in which the fight for yourself can benefit and expand the fight of another, and vice versa. Healing happens in community. Change happens in community. You can only do so much change on a personal level. And at a certain point, the changes that you enact in your own life upon yourself, it's great that you're enlightened or whatever, but why do you only care about yourself getting there? Wouldn't it be a little bit better, or a lot of bit better, if you had community there with you? And how can you bring that community with you? Even if it slows your own progress, or even if it changes things or makes things feel harder. Challenge is needed. Grief is needed in order to see the growth that is available. Things need to fall apart so that new things can replace them. I was just talking about this with someone today in a reading. It's not necessarily that once something is lost, we are replacing it in the sense that we just put something new in its place. Because many things can't be replaced either because of sentimental value or because they simply did not work. And so putting something else that looks the same there doesn't actually help the progress that we're seeking. Instead, we can take time to look at this empty space, to imagine what different shapes it could take, and then begin to build it. And that's when the 5 of Swords and the 6 of Swords really kind of present additional challenge. They remind us that, especially the Five of Swords, even once the major shift, the major change takes place, that doesn't mean everything is going to be happy and easy. You will still find yourself conflicted. You will still find conflict with others. You will still find moments where you don't exactly know what to do. You will still engage in arguments. You will still not see eye to eye with everyone around you. And recognizing that you need to let go of being right or having everything exactly as you wanted it is what will provide the path forward, both in the realm of thought and in the physical realm. Bottom of the deck. Six of Wands. Celebrating, honoring all the work that has gotten you to where you are now, and acknowledging the work that is left to be done. When things feel really hard, taking the time to reflect on how you got through to where you are now, to help fuel your inspiration and motivation for the future, to help add flame to that fire of the Sun and the Ace of Wands, which is where it all comes back to. Yeah. Well, that's the reading. We took some turns there. We danced on some waves. That's okay. That happens. Well, I mean, I don't know what else I expected doing this on the eclipse. Obviously, there was going to be some chaos and some, mixed messages in there. But it's all wisdom that we can definitely tap into for this week. So, let's go ahead and close out and go along our merry ways. So, once again, if you like, you can join me in closing your eyes, taking a couple of breaths. Reimagining that elemental circle of protection that you put up around yourself. Feeling once again into your anchor point with the earth. Taking a big deep breath in, and as you exhale, releasing that circle, scattering salt, extinguishing fire, dissipating air, smoke, sending water, stones, plants sinking back into the earth, opening the circle and releasing the energy. I release the spirits and guardians of the west, the south, the east, and the north, sending you back to your place in the natural order with praise and with gratitude. I send the energy of all those watching and listening back to them whole, complete, and intact. I take my energy back to myself whole, complete, and intact. May we remain friends, though our energies are no longer crossed, corded, or tangled at all, starting now. Take a breath, feel your energy settle into all yours. The circle is open, and so it is. Wonderful. All right, my friends. Well, happy new moon, happy eclipse, happy rest of your life, I guess. And yeah, hit me up if you want to join Phasecraft and need a payment plan or a discount code. If you have any questions about Phasecraft, shoot me an email, leave a comment. And yeah, don't forget to get your orders in or your scheduling done for a reading before my books close. Okay, that is all I have for you. And I'll see you next week.